Yeah, thanks very much for that wonderful welcome. I just also like to acknowledge the Larrakia people and thank Donna and your mob for making us so welcome up here today, and also pay my respects to the elders from all over the territory who've come up here. Diane, Bunny, for your wonderful words this morning. Thank you all for coming. I came by plane as well, like Rebecca, which is not as hard as some of you folk who I think must have driven till pretty late last night to get up here. I know a lot of you mob have things that you'd rather be doing, but there are things that this waste dump campaign is preventing you from doing, and that most of you would rather be doing other things. But it's very, very important that you've stepped up, and the leadership that you're showing in this is leadership not just for your country, which is very important, but for all of Australia. There's one fella pushing this, and the Prime Minister is letting him get away with a lot of things, as Rebecca has just explained to us, things that are crimes, criminal acts. As Martin Ferguson is the Minister for this. They took the portfolio for radioactive waste off the Energy Minister, off the Science Minister, and gave it to the Minister for Resources, and he's just in charge of kicking this thing through, like they tried to kick the mob in South Australia. So the same approach here. It's coercive and it's predatory. Pick on a community that you think is politically vulnerable and just try and kick the door down. And that's what they're attempting. That's what this is all about here. The Senate inquiry that's happening in Darwin tomorrow is one of the smallest and only windows of accountability that we have into this process. It won't stop the waste dump from going ahead, because I think the mob are going to do that. I strongly believe that that stuff is not going to Muckaty. It is not going there. It is the wrong place for it. I strongly believe that. But the Senate inquiry is a little piece and a little window of accountability into what their process is. Where did the Land Council go wrong? Where's the government going wrong? Has anybody broken the law on the way through? Blackfella law or whitefella law? And we've got very strong reasons to believe that both kinds of law have been broken very, very strongly all the way through from 2005 when this got started. Rebecca made a really important point. The Koongas beat them in South Australia. They had help, but it was the leadership that they showed in standing their ground that had a win in South Australia. But then what? The government looks around and says, well, whose door shall we kick in next? Let's kick in the Muckaty mob in the territory. Now what happens when we beat this at Muckaty is they're going to go around looking for some other community that's also, they will consider politically vulnerable. They're going to try and kick their door down as well. We need to be saying right now, no remote waste dumps. That is the wrong approach for this material. This process would be wrong as far as I'm concerned if they were building a car park. But this is not a car park. This is the most dangerous, radiotoxic, long-lived material that will be ticking and needing to be isolated from people in the environment for much longer than we will be around. Not hundreds of years, thousands of years, and tens of thousands of years. And this is completely the wrong way to go about it. So we need to ask the government, not just for the Koongas' sake or for the point of view of Muckaty, but the next community that they try and force the door down to dump the stuff on them. Why are you so insistent on dumping it remotely? If it's so safe, what the hell is wrong with keeping it right where it is, surrounded by people who have the expertise and have spent their entire lives studying this material? Why are you so keen to take it to an isolated shed on a cattle station and then turn your back on it? We found out in Canberra a fortnight ago the long-term employment that they told some of the mob they'd be getting will amount to 6 lonely security guards and some barbed wire. That's the employment. That's the economic opportunities they're talking about. They're pretty long-term jobs. They're going to need to be standing there guarding that door for 10,000 years, but there's not very many of them. It's going to be pretty lonely work. That is not the kind of economic development that the mob around Muckaty were looking for. So I'm kind of here to offer my support. This is something that I've been working on with some of the other folk. First in support of the South Australian mob, then the 4 different sites that were targeted right across the territory. Now they're trying to nail Muckaty, and we're going to stop them. Thank you very much.